Hello everyone, this is Nathan and today we're starting something new on my channel called Starmade. Starmade is an open universe space simulation sandbox game created by Schema and it's currently in alpha. It's everyone's modded Minecraft space dreams come true. Starting out with nearly nothing, you slowly pillage and salvage your way to fortune and start designing and building your own space stations, starships and even whole fleets. When you log in the game the first time, you'll spawn near a space shop from which you can buy and sell any item in the game, provided the shop has it in stock. Other ways of acquiring materials are salvaging abandoned space stations or asteroids randomly generated in the world. You may also hunt down some pirates for precious loot, though you will need to be prepared to do so. You start your journey with a bunch of ship components as well as 25,000 credits, which won't take you very far. Upon death, you lose a percentage of your credits, but not any items. To get us started, we'll have to assemble our first ship and find a space station to salvage. Hit the X key and name your ship. Doing so will place down a ship core that you can mount and interact with in various ways. Look at the core and hit the R key to enter either build mode or flight mode. To toggle between the two, use the space key. Theoretically, we already have made a starship with which you can fly around. This ability might be taken away in future updates, but as long as we can, we will take advantage of the core being a functional flying ship and start seeking out a space station. Some handy blocks you could take with you on the journey are a building block with which you can claim stations, asteroids and planets to function with the building mode, and a second ship core in case you lose yours due to pirates or simple stupidity. To find a space station, hit the N key to pop up your navigation GUI. You will see a list of all objects close enough to you. Optionally, you can enable or disable certain objects to have a better overview. If you're lucky enough, you'll find a space station in the list which you can click to highlight its in-game indicator. If not, simply fly in one direction while constantly checking the navigation screen for one to pop up. Use WASD to move in the horizontal directions and Q&E to move vertically. You can use the mouse to change the direction and while holding control you can roll back and forth. To align yourself with the current sector, hit the C key. Finally, use shift to come to a halt. Your space emergency brakes, so to speak. Once we reach the space station, it's time to salvage a bunch of materials. Valuable blocks are the Plex slides, the Plex glass, the Plex lifters as well as the power blocks. Note that if you attach a building block to the station, you'll be able to dismantle it much quicker using the advanced building mode, but more to that later. Once you're happy with your loot, go back to where you parked your ship core and use it to fly back to a shop. Selling those items should give you a few 100,000 credits to build your first real ship. Before we do that though, we need to know some basics about the ship components and how they work together. Now we already know about the ship core. It is the most important part of a ship and upon destruction the ship and all its content will be lost as well. If not already in, enter your ship core and switch to building mode. First up, we have the power modules. Everything attached to the ship that requires power will be dependent on your power supply. Power modules are most efficiently placed so that they form two edges of a square or three edges of a cubic structure. Reason for that is that this specific block will create a mini reactor with the empty blocks, thus outputting as much if not more energy you would get by filling the gaps. The thruster is another block you want to have attached to every ship. It will make sure that with increasing mass you'll still be agile and quick in space. Generally, the more thrusters you have, the more mass can your ship still get up to maximum speed. Next up we have the shield block. This block is not dependent on a specific structure, but can be placed anywhere on your ship. The more shield blocks you have, the more hits you can take before taking actual damage, but it will of course also cost you more energy. A great way to use it is to fill up all the gaps you've made with the power blocks. So now we can take a few hits and fly really fast, but what if we want to strike back? For that we need to set up another system on the ship. There are several different weapon systems in the game about which we're going to talk in another video. For this example, we're going to use the antimatter cannon. Weapon systems need their respective weapons computer for proper installation, so I'm going to buy an antimatter weapons computer as well as a good amount of antimatter cannons. Start by adding your computer anywhere on the ship and ensure it is highlighted before you place any of the cannons. You can use C while in build mode to highlight a block. You can now start placing your cannons. Generally, the more blocks you have attached to each other, the more powerful your cannon will be. With every separate module, there will be a separate beam emitted. Once you're happy with your structure, use the T key to open up the weapons interface. Highlight the computer you've just placed and choose the number on your keyboard that will activate said computer. This means you can also have several computers on your ship in case you want to be able to control each cannon individually. If you've messed up linking your computer with your cannons properly, you can always connect them manually with the V key. Last but not least, we're going to examine the Salvaged Cannons. Just like with the antimatter cannon, you will need a computer for the cannons to operate. Attach the salvage computer anywhere on your ship, make sure it is highlighted, and place down your salvage cannons. Since we want to be as devastating as possible, it is wise to set up the beams in a way so that you get as many as possible rather than one single powerful beam. But more on harvesting efficiency in a later video as well. Well guys, these have been the very basics of this incredibly awesome game. There's much more to come. Next time we're going to build an efficient harvester to completely annihilate space stations and asteroids. Hope you enjoy, stay tuned for the next part and have a great time. Bye bye.